All right. Welcome on into Dear Mr. Fantasy. We got Jeff Rowe joining us just momentarily. Mincy, unfortunately, is on a flight right now. But let me get you some info on today's games. We got 11:30 a.m. All the actives, inactives lists are coming out. A lot of stuff. Schefter tweeted out so many people that are going to be missing games today. I think maybe the most interesting is Cam Akers, Rams running back, is playing today. After being inactive, there were reports that he played his last down for the Rams several weeks ago. A couple interesting ones. So Damian Harris, I know, was listed as questionable, unlikely to play against the Colts. Darren Waller, unlikely to play. DeAndre Swift is also an interesting one because he's most people's RB1, and he's questionable. He had, I believe, 5 carries last week for, I think, 6 yards and a couple catches, and he did score a touchdown, but he's going to be limited today. Cordell Patterson coming off injured reserve today for the game against the Chargers. That is big. Gus Edwards is going to be he's doubtful for Monday night. He's likely going to be out. Players out today, Corey Davis, so Garrett Wilson gets a little bit of a bump there. Jamar Chase, obviously. Jonathan Taylor out, which is big for a lot of people. Devontae Parker out. Jahan Dotson still out. Mike Williams and Keenan Allen both out. One of my favorite props is Austin Eckler over 6.5 catches. Russell Gage is out as well. So a lot of guys missing. Let's get Jeff Rowe in here. What's up, buddy? How we doing?
Hey, what's up, Shay? How you doing?
Good. Just going over the actives, inactives. A lot of guys out. Cam Akers really a surprise for me being active after reports came out a couple weeks ago from Rap Sheet that he had probably played his last down for the team.
Yeah, I also heard that they were trying to basically give him away and nobody wanted him.
Correct.
I think Florio said that.
Yeah. Yes. But yeah, how you doing, man? What are some things you like today on the board or fantasy guys that you specifically like, and then we can get into questions.
Yeah, sure. I think for me, one of the guys I think, and maybe this is common knowledge now, but I think full send on Justin Fields. I think he's been showing the Konami aspect of his game, despite throwing for under 200 yards usually. But I think it's enough. And I don't think Claypool is going to have, a huge impact today, but even so, really love him, especially in the matchup with their 2 best defenders gone, playing Tua. I think take that over.
Yeah, a bunch of new guys playing with new teams today for fantasy impact. I think the most interesting one is Jeff Wilson Jr. for the Miami Dolphins. He did play in that scheme, so I don't imagine there's going to be a huge learning curve. We'll see how much he eats into Raheem Mostert, but as you mentioned, Chase Claypool, TJ Hawkinson playing for Minnesota, Naheem Hines today playing for Buffalo, Zach Moss for the Colts, Kadarius Toney all of a sudden healthy playing for the Chiefs. So a lot
miraculous recovery there. Yeah.
Yeah, when he got traded, I saw some person tweet the gif of Kevin Nash just getting out of the wheelchair with the fake leg brace.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, so interested to see how that pans out. Let's get into some questions, but first, just want to say the show is presented by Roman. 42% of men experience moderate to extensive hair loss in their lifetime. There are options to help stop balding in its tracks. The sooner a person starts treatment for hair loss, the easier it is to keep the hair that they have. Roman offers both prescription medication and over-the-counter treatments, but they also offer specifically formulated shampoos and conditioners. Research shows that 80% of men who use prescription hair loss treatment had no further hair loss after 2 years, which is amazing. Research has also shown that men who use hair loss treatments feel better about their overall appearance, which is kind of common sense, I would think. Getting started is simple. Complete a free online visit, then a U.S. licensed healthcare professional will work with you to find the best treatment plan. If medication is appropriate, Roman ships it directly to you in discreet packaging with free 2-day shipping. The whole process is really straightforward and discreet, and treatments start at $20 per month on a quarterly plan. So go to row.co/FFF. It's a little bit different URL. So ro.co/FFF for 20% off your first order. Thank you, Rowan, for the partnership there. But Jeffrey, let's get into some of these questions. Also, shout out to Reginator, like the stream, please. This is an interesting question. Jamal Williams or Michael Carter for the foreseeable future? We mentioned right before he hopped on, DeAndre Swift is going to be limited today, which is interesting because he only got 5 carries last week, had a couple catches. He did score, so it kind of masked his fantasy performance. Jamal Williams has been the guy around the goal line. I think he has 3 multi-touchdown games this year. He was plus money this morning to score a touchdown. Who do you like for the foreseeable future here? The Jets traded for James Robinson, but he is going to miss today's game likely.
Yeah, and I'm going Jamal here, and I know I was looking into Swift a little bit this morning. It doesn't the vibes just don't sound good. Like he's gonna, I don't know how much they're even going to use him. Jamal Williams has shown that he's perfectly capable. I think from the Detroit Lions perspective, they might want to kind of, given that they have someone that is productive, put their high value player kind of on the shelf for the future, similar to maybe what might happen with Taylor.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see this play out. Michael Carter, I will say, for a PPR perspective, will probably catch a lot of balls in his time.
One other thing. Just real quick here on Michael Carter, at least for today, the Bills, they're 5th best against the rush, and I looked this up too. The Jets only rush 21% of the time in the second half when they're losing, and I think they're playing the Bills, so that's likely. So, as far as today goes too, I'm down on Carter.
Okay, interesting. Another reason to be down on him, James Robinson is actually officially active, so it was doubtful he was going to play earlier this week, but he is active. Fields, just getting that out. DeAndre Swift active. Allen Lazard active. Christian Watson also active, kind of a scary head injury last week. James Robinson active, and then inactive Darren Waller, Damian Harris, which is a big scratch from Andre Stevenson for sure. Josh Reynolds inactive, and Zach Moss with the Colts inactive. What do you think of Deion Jackson, Colts running back? He had a monster game last night play. I think he had I think he had 10 catches. What do you think about him today against New England?
Yeah, I like him today. Who else is there since they got rid of Hines? I don't think New England is crazy good, if I'm not mistaken, against the run. Maybe middle of the pack, maybe a little better. But even so, I'm in on him just from the volume perspective. It's by Mageddon. If you got him, I can't imagine that he would not at least make it into your flex spot here with 6 teams on bye.
Yep. Okay, I just put one up there. Who do you like, David Montgomery or Kenyon Drake? Gus Edwards is doubtful. It is a Monday night game, so we're not probably going to find that out until right before kick. The Ravens' backfield has been wild for fantasy owners this year. J.K. Dobbins had a monster game. Gus Edwards had a monster game. Kenyon Drake has had a couple big games. What are you thinking with these two?
Yeah, and they're playing New Orleans Monday night. Yeah, I'm rolling Drake here again, more on the volume account here. Montgomery's basically in a 50-50 split with Khalil Herbert. Montgomery is getting more goal line work, and they should be able to put up some points with the Dolphins. But I just like that. I'm not counting on it on Gus Bus to make it tomorrow night. So I'd go with the volume play there.
Yeah, I agree there. Love this from 3Pete. We got a defense special teams question early on.
Nice.
Like the Bills D or the Pats D? Bills going against the Jets. Pats going against Sam Ehlinger, the rookie quarterback for the Colts, and no Jonathan Taylor.
This is a great predicament to be in. I'll say that.
Both good options.
We all know how good Belichick is against rookies, or you can consider Ehlinger a rookie for in this account. I think I would probably lean. I'd probably lean the Bills here. I think Wilson is going to be down. He's going to have to get into fuck it mode and make a lot of mistakes. Whereas I think the Colts are probably going to just be a little bit more like fiscally responsibly losing this game and run the ball some more. But you really can't go wrong. And if it goes the other way, not a surprise at all.
Yeah, the over-under on the Bills Jets game is 46. Bills 10.5-point favorites. Colts Patriots 40.5 with New England favorite by 5. Let's go into a tight end question from Ramblin' Man. Drop Schultz to flex Allen Robinson or Robert Tonyan, or just roll with Brian Robinson Jr. at flex, half-point PPR. This is interesting because Brian Robinson Jr., huge letdown last week. He was bad. I think he had like 20-something yards rushing after it appeared that he was going to be the guy, but Antonio Gibson has grabbed like a share of that backfield.
Yeah, so the name that jumps out at me that I wrote down here with the little star is Robert Tonyan. I like him. I believe it was from Matt Harrison, but I heard someone this week say that he's had the most separation of any receiver, which is pretty crazy for any tight end. But in any case, the Lions have given up the fifth most points to tight ends. I know he kind of had a little bit of a down week, if I'm not mistaken, last week, but there's not that many targets. There's not that many people Rodgers trusts. I think this is his week.
Yeah. I agree with that, actually.
Against the Lions.
Yes, against the Lions. From Michael Kent, pick one for my flex spot. Standard league, so not even half-point PPR. Michael Carter, Robert Woods, or Eno Benjamin.
Probably going to go Eno here.
Yeah.
I think I spoke about Carter. Yeah, Robert Woods has been lost in the woods all year. I would just go Eno here.
Shout out Frozen 2. All right, let's go. I like this question from Matthew Lipp. Pick one wide receiver, full-point PPR, Chris Godwin, Gabe Davis, or Tyler Boyd. So a few things to consider. Jamar Chase out. Chris Godwin, I will say from watching the Bucks, he does catch a lot. They just throw him kind of like passes and wide receiver screens all the time. So he's like, his over-under catches is 6.5, and there's more juice going towards the over. That being said, listening to the press conference, reading the tea leaves, they are going to try and concertedly run the ball more this week. I don't know if that's going to necessarily impact those quick hitters to Godwin, but something to note. And then Gabe Davis, or something I did read about, so the Bills are going against the Jets. Sauce Gardner does not travel, so he's going to stay to a side. So I don't think this necessarily means Stephon Diggs gets locked up and Gabe Davis is all of a sudden unleashed. I think it's going to impact everyone negatively.
Yeah, so this is funny too, because Gabe Davis and Tyler Boyd, I wrote about them this week as they're the two leaders in my troll of the year. So whenever you start them, they suck, and vice versa. I thought about this too. They're pretty much like the Family Guy, what's in the box, the mystery box. You never know what you're going to get, and it's likely not going to be good if you pick it. I think here's what I think of this question. First of all, there's still pretty good options to kind of choose from. The Bucks, even if they say they're going to run more, they literally run the least out of any team overall.
They do,
and let's see. Yeah, so I am kind of leaning Godwin on this one. Plus, I think we can talk about Brady. We might talk about Brady later, but I think he's got to regress positively. But in any case, if you're in a situation where maybe you're down, or you feel like you really need to go shoot for the stars against maybe a top team that you're playing, give Gabe Davis a go, and you might only get a couple of points, but you might get 35, and he could be the wide receiver one. So I think something to think about. But
I think on a weekly basis, all these guys have very high ceilings. On a weekly basis, I think Gabe Davis might have the lowest floor, but his ceiling also might.
What's in the box?
Yeah, he might catch a 98-yard touchdown again. From Josh Abrams, we like Trevor Lawrence or Aaron Rodgers. So we got.
Trevor I'm Lawrence. A Bears fan, and this is Rodgers to me. I think against the Lions. I mean, why is he on your team if you're not going to play him against the Lions?
That's a good point. The Raiders, very bad. Over under in that game is 47.5. Vegas 1.5 point favorites. Trevor Lawrence hasn't been great lately. He started the year pretty hot, but has certainly cooled off. Ooh, love this. I love the way this question starts. Extremely deep
qualifying us, like, hey, just so you know.
Extremely deep dynasty league. Can I trust Cordell Patterson coming off an injury to be my RB2 behind Ramondre Stevenson. I don't have many other options. Chase Edmonds, Jeff Wilson on PPR. I think Jeff Wilson could sneaky emerge in that Miami backfield, but I wouldn't necessarily bank on it this week. What are you thinking about Scordarrelle starting this week?
Scordarrelle. I feel like they wouldn't activate him unless they're going to use him. I'm interested with Jeff Wilson. Like, you know, he's no stranger to what they're going to do. I think he can come in and put up some yards against the Bears. I feel like I'm kind of leaning him. But yeah, I think Cordarrelle is still a good option. Yeah. The Falcons just will run the ball. That's just a part of their identity. So yeah, they'll get him in there.
One prop I kind of sneaky like today, and it's going to be a massive sweat probably, is Marcus Mariota over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Not necessarily I like the prop alone, but the odds are 2-1, plus 200 in the Barstool Sportsbook. In the last 3 games, he's thrown for 6 touchdowns. So he's cleared that number in 2 of the 3. I like that from a value.
I mean, he's finally thrown something to Kyle Pitts and realized, hey, this guy's kind of good.
Yeah. All right, our guy Dereganator, best fantasy football show in the freaking game. Rank these full point PPR options. We got Deontay Foreman, Deion Jackson, David Montgomery, Michael Carter.
Well, Foreman's clearly one, right? Am I off my rocker there?
You can't. It's hard to bench a guy coming off a 3-touchdown game.
Right, and Hubbard is out.
Yeah, I believe Chuba Hubbard was ruled out earlier this week.
Okay, yeah, I thought so. Yeah, so Foreman's definitely one. Volume, actually, it's in order here for me. He's got it in order.
I agree, yeah. I mean, Deion Jackson, I believe he had 10 catches in his last game. Full point PPR.
You're saying, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you absolutely cannot bench that. Is Waller out? Darren Waller is out today.
Good. That's good for Waller owners, so you can, stop hurting yourself and start someone else.
Yeah, from Danny No Scales. Tyler Algier, James Robinson, Antonio Gibson, Nyheim Hines. Start 2. 2 of his guys on bye. Antonio Gibson's been pretty good lately, but he doesn't get a lot of carries, so he's been doing it receiving. I think he had 7 catches last week. Nyheim Hines, I mean, that's just a flip of the coin. He could get 2 touchdowns. He could get 2 snaps. We'll see what he does.
I think, just to jump in here, and Hines, if you think about, obviously I'm not comparing him to CMC, but being so freshly traded to a new team and getting into the game, what can you expect of him? CMC only had I think 6 or so points in his first game. So what's Hines going to do? I mean, it is the Bills though, so you never know, but I'm looking at Gibson and probably Algier.
Agreed. Yeah, I think those two. Those are the 2 that have been with their teams the longest, and we kind of have an expectation about what their floor should be. And the ceiling for both of those could be high, but we're obviously talking about RB3s really at this point.
Yeah, and I know the Falcons running backs there's 3 of them now with
Caleb
Huntley as well, who I'm forced to start in my league. But with how much the Falcons run, I kind of pegged them as my Philip Morris shareholder line here. They might give you cancer, but start them if you got them. Just go for it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Let me get into one more ad. Obviously, one of our big partners, Chevy. Over 2 months into the season, pretenders and contenders have emerged, but there's one player that is never a pretender and always a contender, and that player is Chevy Silverado. Silverado shows up week in and week out with unstoppable grit and determination. Chevy Silverado is the ultimate tailgate flex with available multi-flex tailgate and power outlet built right into the bed. And the first ever ZR2 is the ultimate off-road machine. From tailgates to stadium lots to off-road adventures, Silverado has you covered. Head over to Chevy.com to learn more about the Chevy Silverado. Jeffrey, you ever been an off-road, kind of a mudding guy? Have you ever done that?
Oh, down in Ocotillo Wells, me and my friends used to go down to do some off-road trucking, and down in Mexico too. Yeah, a lot of fun.
Love that. That sounds awesome. That would be great in a Chevy Silverado. So again, go to Chevy.com. to learn more about the Chevy Silverado. Thanks to Chevy for the partnership. Let's go with from Landon Robertson, full point PPR, flex Deontay Foreman, Chris Godwin, or Christian Kirk. Full point PPR. I mean, it's really hard to bench Deontay Foreman after a 3-touchdown game. Chris Godwin has not scored this season. I'm just going to take this. I'm going to go roll with Deontay Foreman, even though it is full point PPR.
Definitely the safe pick. Yeah.
From Shark Talk, Brian Robinson Jr., Tyler Higbee, or Drake London. This is interesting.
Yeah. I kind of leaning Higbee here, which I know sounds kind of gross. He's gotten the targets. The Rams pass, I got 68% of the time inside the 10, fourth most in the league. It's they're not great options, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm leaning.
Yeah, you're playing touchdown lottery at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. From Eris, full point PPR. DeAndre Swift, James Conner, or Rachaad White? I will say from a Bucs perspective, I do expect Rachaad White to get more in the game plan this week. They said he was a little bit down last week just because he's alternating series, and the series that he went in on just kind of stopped short. That being said, I do not think you can start him against these other guys.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, safe-wise, James Conner has just been so disappointing this year. DeAndre Swift, when he's healthy, is great. He's not healthy right now. That being said, I still think of this group, especially in full point PPR, he did catch a handful of balls last week, that he's going to be the guy.
Yeah, with the full PPR, I think standard, maybe I'd go Connor, but I'll go Swift.
Let's stick on that for motive, DeAndre Swift or Khalil Herbert, full point PPR.
This one I'll take Herbert.
Yeah, I will agree. Let's take the guy that is healthy.
Yeah, and he catches balls too, so you get that.
Yeah. There is a little bit of wind. I think it's going to be between 15 and 20 miles an hour during the game, so that could encourage the Bears to run it a little bit more for whatever it's worth. Pick one for flex, Michael Novella. Naheem Hines, Tyler Algier, or Alec Pierce?
Yeah, going Algier.
Yeah, I like that too. One thing I will note, Alec Pierce is a guy that I've been tracking all year because I bet on him a lot. His prop just seems to be right in the sweet spot where I feel like I can take advantage of it every week. His receiving yards this week is 30.5, which is low. I expect him to be kind of in the high 30s or low 40s. 30.5 is a little bit too low for me. He's a guy who averages close to 20 yards per catch. So we're looking at, realistically 2 catches for him. So Alec Pierce is a guy whose prop I really like today. Let's go with another tight end question from Jack Pfeiffer. With Waller out, should I go with Tyler Conklin of the Jets or Mike Gesicki of the Miami Dolphins? Who do you like here?
I kind of like both, with Gesicki going against the Bears and Roquan Smith out of there. Those linebackers could very well be lost. Yeah. So I think for that reason, I'd probably lean him. Conklin's not a bad idea either. He had 10 targets last week. They are playing the Bills, so they'll probably need to throw a lot, but I think I'm leaning Gesicki on this one.
Yeah. Kelly in Vegas is usually pretty sharp on this. She thinks that the Dolphins Bears game is going to go under. I feel like it could be a high scoring game. I don't know why. I don't know. I just think both offenses can be pretty good, and they have been both trending.
What is it? 46 and a half?
46 on the nose. It was 46 and a half. It got lower.
Yeah, I think I like the over there.
Where's the one that I wanted? From Drew. Tom Brady, Jared Goff, or Trevor Lawrence. PPR in this instance doesn't matter. We're not expecting any of these guys to catch balls today.
Full PPR. I like that. Just in case. I mean, Philly special.
Yeah. Tom Brady has been thrown a ball before he dropped it.
Yeah. I like your boy Brady here. I wrote a blog a week ago about Brady, and I have this wild theory that Giselle was making him do the A Knight's Tale lose to prove your love, because he did so bad versus the Panthers and the Steelers, who were the worst teams in the league, or two of them.
Yep.
And then the Ravens game, like when they got to the red zone, it was like the hurricane came back. He was just throwing the ball into the stands. It was very uncanny. But anyway, the divorce is finalized. He's free to score some touchdowns now, and he's playing the Rams. I think you trust him. He's gonna pay off for you.
I will say two things. I was at the game against Baltimore. I was in the locker room after, and Tom Brady was in uniform at his locker for like 30 minutes after the game and looked just very downtrodden. And obviously, they just lost the game, disappointing. They moved to 3-5 in the year, but he was noticeably, like, people that I know down there was like, doesn't normally do this. Like, he's usually pretty in and out after a game. So that was disappointing. But his press conferences this year were noticeably much more upbeat. And I don't know if he's like just happy that all this is like out there and he can finally like focus on football or what. But noticeably, he is much more chipper this week. And hopefully that translates to the field. For whatever that's right. I love getting press conference and nugget info. So if you're a big fan of a team and you hear something in a press conference, definitely shoot that my way.
There you go. Single guy energy. Let's go.
Yeah. Like this one from Clap. Flex. Alan Lazard, who is playing today.
He is, okay.
Darnell Mooney or Alec Pierce, full point PPR.
Yeah, I like Lazard here against the Lions.
There. Yep. Let's go with from FSU Brando, my guy on Twitter. Do we think Nyheim Hines is a good flex start today?
I'm gonna say no. Of course, it's all relative to what else you have, but I think, like we said before, first week coming in, not really sure what to expect from him. Put him in the what's in the box category.
Yep. Another quarterback question here from Nolan Gaz. Tua against the Bears or Kyler against Seahawks?
Full PPR again.
Yeah. I wouldn't expect either of these guys to be catching passes today. Not impossible.
Maybe against the Bears.
Yeah. I got to go with Tua here. Kyler, divisional matchup. Seahawks have been sneaky pretty good. Leading the division right now. So I'm going to go with Tua.
Yeah, it's Tua. Call of Duty came out on October 28th, I think. So things are downhill for Kyler.
I will say that the over-under in the Cardinals Seahawks game is 49, whereas we're looking at 46 in the other game. So the point totals would skew towards Kyler, but I do like Tua. He has been DeAndre Hopkins coming back is huge.
Mm-hmm.
DeAndre Hopkins is going to be a top 5 wide receiver to end the year.
Oh, absolutely.
Took that one already. Here we go. Do we drop Claypool for Evan Ingram? I believe that this guy was in a bye week conundrum. Evan Ingram flashed last week. He had a touchdown. What do you think about Chase Claypool on the Bears?
I like him. I wish I knew what his other tight end was, because Ingram has kind of been like kind of good all of a sudden. I don't know if it's the same Evan Ingram that I have seen in fantasy leagues, but I would say, generally speaking, yeah, I think I'd probably rather have Ingram here. I guess the assumption is that you don't have a top tight end. Claypool, the Bears have 3 really good matchups in these next 3 weeks for wide receivers, but Claypool is likely going to be kind of easing his way in to where I think after that it gets a lot tougher when he might actually be, fully utilized. So, even as a Bears fan, I'm a little tempered in my expectations with him. Also, given that the Bears, they should pass more, but they're still not going to pass nearly league average. So, go ahead and drop him for Ingram.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Chase Claypool utilize on a few jet sweeps. He did that in Pittsburgh. That's a very easy concept to just come in and execute. His relative athletic score coming out of school is a 9.98, so he's like pinnacle athlete of what you're looking for at the position. So I wouldn't be surprised to see those.
I'm happy to be wrong. Go for it. Give me over receiver.
From Ethan McLean, let's talk tight ends. Taysom Hill, the ultimate boomer bust guy, and Tyler Higbee. Who do you like today?
Gosh, I haven't really checked much on Taysom Hill. I feel like I only see him pop up like once every few weeks on a big play. I think I'm going Higbee here just for the targets and the potential touchdown.
So Taysom Hill, I believe, is tight end 3 or tight end 4 overall this year, which is crazy. It's anchored by some huge games. With Andy Dalton at quarterback, they are bringing him in more in the red zone, and he is getting some steady carries. I mean, you look at their roster with Michael Thomas out, Jarvis Landry is questionable for tomorrow night. I think it's tough to really tie yourself to Hill, not knowing the full injury breakdown. Higbee, I think, is a good tight end for this week against the Bucs, who have not defended anyone well.
If you like gambling, though, go Hill.
Yeah, that's certainly the highest ceiling.
If you want to have some Monday night fun, if you're going out to the bar and getting some drinks and you want to see what happens, go for it.
Yeah. Got a lot of people repeating their question. We've taken several of these. We already addressed that from Collab. Lazard coming off injury against Detroit. Like Jeffro said, if you're not starting against Detroit, what do you have him on your roster for? Here's another tight end question from Maine. Should I play Isaiah Likely or not? Mark Andrews doubtful. Isaiah Likely stepped up last week, and he was a very chic breakout candidate in the offseason or in the preseason. Do you like Isaiah Likely this week going against New Orleans?
Very, very likely. I thought I saw that that Andrews is out. Let me double check that.
I thought he was doubtful. Either way, it's unlikely that he's gonna go. Nice. Rashad Bateman also out. So Devin Duvernay, I think, is a good start at wide receiver. They do not have any. I mean, James Prochet, they do not have other weapons at receiver. So who is Lamar really throwing the ball to? It's Isaiah Likely and Devin Duvernay, and that's really it.
Yeah, for sure. I like them both.
Yep. Shout out Ramblin' Man. All right, from Matt McGarvey, Josh Palmer or Chris Olave?
I like Palmer.
Banged up Chargers receiving core against.
Oh yeah, I like Palmer. Sorry, did you say Carter is also out? No. Okay, so Carter was DeAndre Carter might even be out. I know he was.
DeAndre Carter
on the fritz.
DeAndre Carter's active. Sorry.
He's active. Okay, that's fine. I mean, yeah, with Keenan and Williams still out, I like Palmer here against the Falcons. Olave has been super consistent, right? Like he's been a super productive guy, but I'll just kind of lean Herbert versus nice guy Andy Dalton.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to take one more. We got to get out at 12:05 just to get this up in pod. And on the blog from Adam Morelli, no PPR, so just standard. Start 3, Cordarrelle Patterson, DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, Leonard Fournette, Eno Benjamin.
I think Patterson's in for me. I think Williams is in for me. And who do you think?
Lenny. It's got to be Lenny. They're going to run the ball more.
Okay, you like Lenny? All right, I'll trust you. You're the Bucs fan. I know he hasn't been doing that well, but he's still.
Yeah, Benjamin. He's going to catch balls too. His line is a little bit low. It's 3.5. Benjamin and DeAndre Swift are going to be kind of in the backseat of timeshares. Leonard Fournette's going to be leading his timeshare, and he's going to get most of the carries. So I think Cordarrelle, Jamal Williams, and Fournette are the safest plays here. Cool. Thank you to Jeffro for filling in for Mincy today. Mincy sends his apologies. Thank you to everyone who joined in, who asked questions. We appreciate it. Hopefully we see you guys in the winner's circle on Tuesday. But until next week, this is Dear Mr. Fantasy. Good luck, everybody, today.
Good luck, guys.